going on, guys? Today we got a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the cheapest possible way to build your Mazda Speed 3. All your Mazda Speed power mods, the cheapest you can get them, which brands get the cheapest, the magic budget list if you're looking to make some power out of your boy, but you ain't got enough of this money. So today I'm going to be talking about the cheapest way to build your Mazda Speed 3, not build, but modify it, and help you guys out through your modding journey, and also the list of things that you should get in order so you don't zoom zoom boo. And before we get started in today's video, make sure to check out my boys over at McGillRacingDivision.com for Mazda merch. Check out the Ronin collection. This wrap wouldn't have been done if it wasn't for these guys. Thank you, support them. Probably gonna have a Mazda collab on the way too with these guys, so with that being said, let's jump right into this. So, the number one first thing that you should do on your list of cheap Mazda Speed parts, are not cheap, but the first thing first thing I'm gonna tell you guys is whatever you can buy used, buy used. There's tons of Facebook groups like Mazda Speed, New Used Parts Canada and USA that people are always posting their stuff. You just gotta make sure that you use PayPal services and goods, some sort of secure way, or you will get scammed because people do that. So our first mod here, it's debatable whether you want to do this for your first or your second, but it has to be done if you want to do any mods. And that goes for the next mod as well, which is your Cobb access port, or you can do VersaTuner, but Cobb access port is probably going to be your best friend. You need to tune your car when you modify it to make sure that it runs properly. This is going to be your most expensive purchase. The cheapest way to find this is to buy it used. When you're buying it used, make sure that you get it unmarried so that you can use it and marry it to your car. You'll probably find these at about, all pricing by the way is going to be in US dollars. So you're going to find these at about $450 to $500 US, while a new one would range you from like 800 US, something like that. So unfortunately, the first two mods that you really should do to your car aren't going to really benefit you. The second mod that we're going into is going to be the HPFP internals, other known as the high pressure fuel pump internals. And there's two brands that you guys can buy this from. It's either Corksport or Autotech, or the known brands to make these internals. These both are gonna range you $350 US, but if you guys are gonna buy these brand new, which I think that's something you probably should. I've used a used set, and it's not the worst thing, but it might just be safer to do new because some people don't know how to install and deinstall. The recommended brand to go to is obviously Autotech. Autotech has been proven and trusted over the years, and Corksport's kind of had problems with theirs when they first released them, and I'm not sure if they still do, but Autotech definitely. That's going to be your number two. If you don't have these, your car will ZZB when you start modding catless downpipe or an intake, depending on what generation your car is. So now that you got your access port and your high pressure fuel pump internals out of the way, it doesn't matter which one you do first. You can install these without being tuned, but you're gonna need those two to be your first purchase. Now your third mod that you should do is probably gonna be a rear motor mount. Unless you wanna do the intake and the tune before the rear motor mount, I definitely suggest doing a rear motor mount. It's like the first thing that I do on all my cars. Your cheapest brands that you're gonna be going with are JBR. The JBR offers them at $129 US, and you get three choices of what kind of stiffness that you want your bushings to be, whether you want it softer or you want it harder. But if you're gonna go with the stiffer JBR, the stiffest there is, I would recommend moving up to a Diamond Motorsports rear motor mount, as it's just a solid brick of stiffness that is almost the same price. Those range at about $135 US. They're track tested and you can't go wrong with them. So whether or not you want to do this one before or after your intake, that's up to you, but those are going to be your cheapest options for the rear motor mount, and I definitely suggest getting those brand new, unless you get a used one, but you got to make sure that they aren't cracking and make sure that the paint hasn't chipped off the metal and is rusting. You don't want any surface rust or rust going through. Now, when you do the intake, which is going to be either your third or fourth mod, depending on your rear motor mount, you're also going to have another thing to go with it, which is the tune, but we're going to cover the intake first. When you buy your intake for your Mazda Speed 3, you want the full intake. This is an OEM full intake from Mazda themselves for the first generation Mazda Speed 3. The second gen, something about the ECU can't recalculate the air and blah 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 and zoom zoom boom, but the first gens can. I'm not sure about the science, I've just heard about it, it's just a thing. You want the full intake, so let's pretend this was a short ram, don't bother just getting the short ram, get the full air in. This is something else you can also buy used, and all of the intakes I have been used. You have a couple of options on the market. You can either go aluminum or silicone. Aluminum makes better noises, I think personally. Oh, 100%. It sounds like a jet plane. And silicone will run you cheaper. But if you buy a used silicone one, you obviously want to make sure there's no leaks or tears or anything like that. So when you're buying a full intake, JBR is going to be your choice. A basic, I believe it's a 2.5 or a 2.25 inch full intake from JBR, a silicone one, it's gonna run you $250, full intake, turbo inlet pipe, everything. That's all you need. However, you will be a little restricted on air, but if you don't really care that much, it's not gonna be necessarily a big deal, especially if you don't plan to go big turbo. If you're looking to get a little bigger in size, JBR also has a 3.5 inch intake, and it's silicone that will run you $309 for the 3.5 inch. So if you want to go up an inch in size, which 3.5 inch is really what you should be looking for, or a 3 inch, $50 extra, right? They also have a full aluminum intake, which is what I was talking about, for almost the same price. I believe that runs in at $310 US, which is a 3 inch. So if I was me, I was looking to buy a brand new intake, I'd definitely spend the extra $50 and I'd get the 3 inch aluminum. Probably won't leak like silicone could, and it sounds badass. Other than that, I recommend getting it used. Just be careful when you're buying, and preferably see it in person, because you can't always trust people on the web. And I almost forgot, you got to do the tune with the intake. Even if you're first gen and you can still run an intake, I just tune it. You got to get tuned, start your tuning process. And to do that, I definitely would recommend a flash tune when you're starting off with the smaller mods, because really you're only changing the airflow, and it's not a lot of airflow, because you're going to be running on a stock 16 to 18 PSI. I could be wrong, but get tuned. Flash tune from Stratified is going to be your cheapest option at $100 US. Also have the option for Crackle Tune. I wouldn't recommend it because it can do bad to your turbo, which I've seen in these local cars down here. If you want to spend the extra bit of money and get something, you know, a little bit better from a Flash Tune, then Freak Tune and a lot of the other guys, but Stratified will be your cheapest option. Now we're down to making fun noises. You guys have already probably before watched this. That's your first thing that you looked at is the blow-off valve. If you want the cheapest option, pray for me to say this, but eBay can run you like $100, $60. I did use them on a 22 PSI Mazda Speed 3 and it did okay, and it actually surprisingly didn't leak, but things got sketchy to the end. It started to wiggle and loosen up, so definitely want to recommend. TurboSmart makes a couple of cheaper, smaller blow-off valves, bypass valves, but eBay is going to be your cheapest option. That's something for you to decide. Another mod that's going to run you quite big in the money, but you guys have probably already been thinking about it, is a catback exhaust. eBay is going to be the way to go for the first generations. You're looking at a Turbo XS catback exhaust that's going to run you $589 US. And then we got an OBX too, if you're looking for a different kind of sound, depending on what you like. It's gonna run you $602. The second generation, you're looking at X Force, $599, and then OBX comes in at $662. Unfortunately, the second gens are a bit more expensive just because it's a dual exit exhaust. Now to go with your exhaust, probably want to do a downpipe before your exhaust. I think the catback exhaust is probably the last thing you want to do to your Mazda Speed, because you're getting less out of it, although you're getting nice sound. So like I said, resonator, blah blah blah, all that stuff can be done to get a good sound before you do all the fun stuff. Catless downpipe or a catted downpipe. The cheapest option, brand new, that's going to run you is going to be actually Cork Sport, coming in at $350 US. This is for their long downpipe, not just the downpipe. This is also the full cat delete, all the cats, goodbye, straight down to your catback. $350. An eBay setup, you can buy just the downpipe and then the second cat delete or the test pipe, put them together, and it would run you about maybe 200 US, 250. Like I said, I'd probably just go with Cork Sport. Now we're starting to make boost. So you're gonna want an intercooler. You're gonna go with a top mount intercooler if you want the cheapest option. This is probably, again, another thing to buy used. But if you wanna go brand new, surprisingly, Cork Sport comes in again with their top mount intercooler sitting at $399 US. I bought mine used for $150 US, and it has been great. And the last thing we're gonna talk about, which I really don't think a lot of people really care about, but it wouldn't be a bad idea, is your exhaust manifold. You can find an OBX exhaust manifold on eBay that will run you $330 $332 US. However, I would definitely recommend get it branded and also check the welds when you get it in, because this is your exhaust manifold, probably one of the hottest parts of your car, because you want good parts on your car, but that will be your cheapest option. And with that being said, that is the whole Mazda Speed parts list. Yeah, I didn't add a turbo in there because that's really up to you and there's not really cheap option. Coilovers and wheels and stuff like that, I've kind of done a video on that before. Other than that, I did all this research. These are your straight down cheapest option. Like I said, a lot of the stuff just buy used if you're really on a strict budget. This is all doable and all these parts will kind of get you at least somewhere, but you got to be careful with some of the things that you buy. Make sure you're not getting shit. But with that being said, guys, that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and comment down below if you guys have any suggestions on your parts. Keep it real. I'll see y'all in the next one.